welcome everybody. I'm Bruce Rader, and I'm glad you're here, and want to welcome everybody. I'm pleased to see such a great turnout. I'm here to talk about money. I appreciate your support, and we pass the jug around every meeting, and I really appreciate all the help. I really appreciate all the help you've been giving me. So Jim asked me to talk about sponsorship a little bit and finances. I have to tell you that, I don't know if you know this or not, but we pay $300 a night for this room every time we come here. And our speaker for the John Berks Society, we had to pay him $200. We have an attorney, and we had to pay him $1,000. So it gets expensive after a while. So again, I appreciate your support, and I'm really pleased to be associated with this fine organization, and I'm glad to see each and every one of you here. We started a new program with sponsors, and we're looking. Thank you. We're looking for sponsors, and our sponsors are probably going to be $100. So if you have a company, or you know of a company, or maybe your supervisor or boss has a company that wants to be a sponsor, please keep that in mind, that we're willing to have a sponsor. They could put a banner on the wall, they could pass flyers out, or we even have tables in the back. Yeah. Oh, Jim just mentioned that the website's available too. So there's different forms of advertising: the banners, the tables, and the website. I just see my time's up, so please keep that in mind when we pass the jug around. Please be generous, and thanks again for your support.
Can you leave that timer up here for when Rod comes up? We'll use that. Carol, oh, she just arrived.
Okay.
Yep, I actually
I had to send Carol on a mission, and she
So now
just
you're gonna
made
have
it.
to help us
I'm
with the
glad.
projector.
I forgot to tell her to bring the projector. We needed it tonight, so she had to run a half hour all the way home and a half an hour all the way back. She just walked in. So I'm going to take this out of line, and I'm going to put Linda Brancadora in front of you, Carol. You're next.
Love these steps, Eldon. Welcome, everybody. I'm Linda Brancadora, membership chairman. Oh, can't hear me? I have a big mouth.
That's what Sam said.
Okay. I'm glad everybody's here. Some people are here for the first time, and I'm very happy that you decided to join. If anybody here does not get their emails or newsletters or anything, come back and see me and sign up again, and we'll check it out to make sure that you do get all the correspondence. I heard a funny thing the other day, and this is real short. If you want to teach your kids about taxes, eat 1/3 of their ice cream cone before you give it to them, okay? That'll teach you about that. Is that good? That's good. I like that. Okay, and one other thing. We have a special, man here within our midst, and his birthday's coming up very soon. And it is Sam Brancadora. We call him Uncle Sam. And we're going to sing happy birthday to you, Sam. Come on up here.
Come on up, Sam. For those of you who do not know, these two do so much work. They really do. We love you guys. And they even put me to work all the time. All right, we're going to sing happy birthday to Sam. You want to lead us, Linda?
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, how old first?
I was going to say a quarter of a century.
A few times over.
Times 3. Times 3. I know he doesn't look it. Doesn't act it. No, we don't have cameras.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, okay. Happy birthday to you. stop and have a piece, please, okay?
Carol?
Hi, everybody. I just want to tell you, the August classes for the Constitution class, in August, we will meet on Wednesday, August 6th, 6 p.m., and on Monday, August 11th, 3 p.m. or 6 p.m. So there's 3 chances to make the class. Wednesday, August 6th at 6 p.m., or Monday, August 11th, and then you can come at either 3 p.m. or 6 p.m. Classes are going good. This is only the 3rd class, so you can still get into it. We're leading up to studying the Constitution. We didn't actually attack the Constitution yet. This last meeting, we talked about the Declaration of Independence. So we're getting there, and everybody that comes to class is having a great time. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Our IT chairwoman, where is she at? Jamie? Oh, okay. We'll take Judy next. You're taking too long.
Hi, I'm Judy Pelka, events chairperson. I started to print out a little sheet that shows the events of our group and other groups in the county. And some of the people are here tonight to give more details. I'm just going to give a real quick list of it. The C4L demonstrations, they have 4 of them, and some town halls, and we're going to have, like I said, more details on that. This Saturday, there's a big rally summit in Lebanon for the 912 project, and I think Sam's going to give us details on that about property tax. Saturday, July 19th, 8 to 2, there's a Wounded Warrior yard sale. Monday the 21st, 6 to 8, Eyes on PA at Wegmans Restaurant has Dr. Duke Presta talking about Common Core. Thursday, I believe that's a videotape, though it's not live. Thursday, Berks Tea Party, the 24th, was canceled. Sunday, July 26th, Sheriff Brigade at Wegmans. Campaign for Liberty is August 13th at the Bethel Fire Company. August 16th and 17th, there's a gun show here at Leesport. Tuesday, August 19th, Lebanon 912 Project. And our next meeting is Thursday, August 21st. Now, there is a Wounded Warrior Project. I was just given information. There's a fundraiser October 3rd, 6 to 11 here at Leesport. $10 advance, $15 at the door. BYOB, door prizes, raffles, 50-50 foods and snacks. All proceeds go to the Wounded War Project in memory of Matthew Lampergell. Any more information? I'll be in the back. Thank you.
Thank you. Whoa, take my agenda. Now we have an update from Jamie, our team chairperson.
Good evening. I'm Jamie Kyle, and I am responsible for the Berks County Patriots, everything IT. That's what I deal with. So it's been fun. Around you, for those of you that aren't familiar, we do have a website. Hopefully you'll all visit it frequently. And what I wanted to say, I'm also responsible for the newsletter. So if you receive the newsletter, it's coming from me, or coming from the organization. And if you'd like, we're still really looking for op-eds, letters to the editor, anything that you would like to contribute. If you have anything, you can certainly send it to me, and then we'll review it and then include it if it's appropriate. And I'll let you know if there's any questions about it, or if we need any further clarification on that. And also, if you are not, I guess I want a show of hands. How many in this room have provided the Berks County Patriots with your email address? Okay, great. And how many of you received the newsletter and received my mass emailings? Okay, perfect. So the question is, if you want to continue to receive them, you don't have to do anything. If for whatever reason you need to unsubscribe, you can also do that at any time. But if there's ever a question that you have regarding whether you're getting an email or whether you're getting the newsletter and you're not, don't hesitate to contact me, because I'll clarify and see if something is going wrong with either the database or something that I need to do. The other thing, just real quick note, is we are going to be taking a look at the website and possibly making some changes. So again, if you have any recommendations about how you'd like to see it or how we might be able to make it better, you can also provide those suggestions to me through the website. Obviously, I'm trying to cycle you through the website so everyone uses it as much as possible. We have the calendar up there as well, so everything that Judy was going over, you can get some clarification up there as well. That's it.
Thank you, Jamie. I'd like to take a minute to talk about the Sheriff's Brigade. How many of you in this room are members of the Sheriff's Brigade? Quite a few. How many of you don't even know what I'm talking about? Then come the fourth Sunday. What is the date for the fourth meeting? 27th. What is the 27th? Yeah, I forget. Wakeman's Restaurant. That meeting starts at 6 p.m. It's a really good series we're doing on preparedness, and it's going to be. It was a 5-month series. Well, we've now decided to add a few things. It's probably going to go to about 7, maybe 8 months. And I'm telling you, the information. We're putting together a very nice binder that you can take with you at the end of the series, which will give you all the resources to be prepared for everything from A to Z. So you really will enjoy it. We went and visited a few places, some of us, and how many are aware of canning food and everything? Well, we went to one of the members' places who was an expert in this. I had the best venison meal ever in my life, in all seriousness, last night. Jim, his wife, where's Jim at? Your wife did an excellent job. It was the best venison. I wish I could have taken the kids because they would have never known they were eating deer meat and they would have ate it. So if you could join us on the 27th, we'd like to have that. But I'd also like to let you know the Sheriff's Brigade is not, there's a few things it is not. For one, it is not connected to the Sheriff's Office. Okay? We have no affiliation to the Sheriff's Office. Now, we do work with the Sheriff from time to time, okay, but we're not connected. So he doesn't tell us what to do. We don't tell him what to do. We just try and work together. Okay? And we're also not a bunch of course, here I am carrying my sidearm, but we're not a bunch of gun-toting cowboys. It's not about a militia. It's not about anything like that. It's about a group of concerned citizens who see things going wrong in our country, who want to network together in our neighborhoods on a smaller scale, because if something does happen, you're going to need your neighbors, you're going to need your friends. And I always hear people say, well, if the shit hits the fan, so to speak, I'm going to Missouri. Well, what do you think the people in Missouri are going to do to you when you show up at their doorstep? They're going to go, no, you're going back wherever you came from. You don't have it. I think about that. So we're going to give you the tools and resources to prepare yourself, and I think it'd be a really good series. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, we'd like to see you come out. At this time, I'd like to bring up Sam for the update on the Property Tax Summit.
Thanks, Jim. Good evening. First of all, if there's anybody who is not familiar with SB 76, that is the Property Tax Elimination Bill, please see me in the back at the end of the meeting. Folks, we really appreciate the help that you gave us last night with the Senate letters. It was very important that you did that. Some of you people went over and beyond. Some of you actually took copies, sent them to friends and relatives. They then signed them and mailed them, and that gave us a lot more, obviously, letters going out. And it really makes a big difference when we get your support like that. So we appreciate it, and we want to thank you. Now, regarding SB 76, there will be a summit this Saturday In Lebanon, it's 1 to 3. The purpose of the summit is to finalize plans for the next few months. It's basically it's going to be a final push to get SB 76 passed. What we're looking for is any comments from you, any ideas that you might have, anything that you might think you can contribute to the possible passing of this bill. We do need your help. Now, if you can't physically go there, and we have information in the back, if you can't physically go there, we actually made arrangements for a website. So we'll have that information as well. You'll be able to send your ideas in through email up to 10 o'clock Saturday morning. So we'll collect those ideas and then present them, and by the end of Saturday, we should have a plan of action. Folks, another subject. We've been, Carol was up here a few minutes ago, and we've been taking her Constitution class for at least a year. It is fantastic, and I highly, highly recommend it. I guess it was last Monday, we had a class with Carol, and it was about the Declaration of Independence. And there was something there that I would like to share with you. And while I present this to you, I just want you to think, would you do what these people did at that particular time? There were 56 signers to the Declaration of Independence. They were mostly all well-to-do. They were farmers, they were merchants, they were doctors, they were lawyers. They had everything to lose, including their lives. When they signed the Declaration of Independence, they committed high treason. King George was after them. Matter of fact, I forget which one of them had a bounty on his head even before he signed. Punishment was death by hanging. Just want to talk to you a little bit about that. Now, if any of you are a little queasy, or you don't want young ones to hear this, put your hands over your ears. Warning. What they did, it's not conventional hanging that you think of, where they put a noose around your neck, trap door, boom, snap, neck snaps, and it's all over with. What they did was they hoist you up a little bit, put the noose on, let you dangle there for a while. Can't get air. You're suffocating. And finally, you pass out. At that point, they take you down, put you in the ground, slap you around a little bit, bring you to. Warning, hands over ears. Warning. At that point when you came to, they would get a knife, and they would make a horizontal cut in your abdomen. They would reach in and pull out your valve. Possibly other organs as well. You didn't die right away. You could live for a couple hours in all kinds of pain. They still weren't done. They then would cut your head. Still weren't done. They would then cut you vertically in half. And then they would take those halves and cut them again. And finally, they would take each part and boil it in oil in a separate container. And then after that, the remnants were scattered abroad so that the last resting place of the offender and unknown. They risked a lot. Do we have anybody today that would do that? Do we really? I think we do. And I think there's some of you in this room tonight. Thank you.
Dean, if you can make your way forward.
Dean was before you on the agenda, Roger. If you want to go ahead, make your way up. All right, Bruce, where's that timer?
Minor change in the agenda. This portion will be dedicated to the legislative committee and what we've been doing. And we'll bring them all up here on the stage. Why don't you work your way up, folks? Get up here and join the party. They want to give you a thumbnail sketch of what we've been doing and get an idea that we do more than just come to meetings once a month. Before we get into each individual subject, collectively, we went to Harrisburg on June the 24th, I believe. The Pennsylvania Leadership Council had a meeting, and we attended. And the first speaker was Terzai. Terzai is the House Majority Leader and the big roadblock on the property tax bill. So he's not our friend. He spoke on many issues and talked about unemployment, lawsuit abuse, natural gas development, and fiscal responsibility. Yeah, fiscal responsibility, yeah, right. Anyhow, after he was through, it was time to Q&A, questions and answers. We were there, 5 of us, and he didn't get a pass. As soon as he opened up to the floor, our committee member, Bruce, challenged him right away. Where do you stand on property tax? He responded by saying he voted against it, and he voted against it as an amendment to 1189, I believe it was. And we got him where we wanted him. We wanted him to say so because all this was being televised. So, our group also took the mic one at a time and asked him on welfare reform, paycheck protection, and the pension crisis. And he responded to all the questions. He took them. And I won't go into how the debate went. We have other things to discuss. But my point is, there must have been 40 or 50 three-piece suitors in that meeting up in Harrisburg. I'm telling you folks, if the Berks County Patriot Legislative Committee wasn't there, he wouldn't have been challenged at any of that. They just sit there and absorb this, and I don't even know why they're there, for entertainment, or just to show support maybe, but your legislative committee did its job, and every one of us that spoke at the mic and challenged those questions that night, that whole thing was on public television, so they didn't escape, and they know we were there. After he was through, Scott Walker spoke. Now, Scott Wagner, if you don't know, he was the fellow that was elected to the Senate on a write-in vote. Absolutely unheard of. I don't think it'll ever happen again, to get a write-in vote of 11,000 votes to be elected to the Senate, but he did. And I want to tell you, he's the right guy. He is one of those people that's had enough of status quo politicians seeking a re-election, irrespective of if they got anything done. He speaks our language, and I think it'd be a fine addition. Again, he spoke on many issues, from paycheck protection, 401k pension for new employees, and by the way, on a footnote, Wagner is not accepting the pension. I think he heard me in my Article 2, Section 8 Pennsylvania Constitution. Mark Gillen, Mike Fulmer, they don't accept it either. They agree with our position that is unconstitutional subject for next month's meeting. Okay. He pointed out that we, Pennsylvania, are the 5th most corrupt government in the nation. I pointed that out last month, if you recall. He also echoed our position on Common Core and other issues. Again, your committee asked him questions. They asked him where he stood, where Polizzi stands on paycheck protection. And Polizzi said, I'm not going to get it to the floor until I'm assured the votes. This is always the problem. We want the vote. We want to count heads. We want to know the yeses or nos. They don't want us to know unless they have a positive vote that they can boast they got something passed. Well, that's basically what took place up there where your committee was. But again, I must emphasize that your committee is doing its job between these meetings. I'm just surprised the three-piece suiters sit there as lumps with really no discussion. They only know what they're fed, and they won't challenge what they're not fed. And it's just flat out wrong, and we're there to make a change. Okay. Having said that, I want to now get into the committee, and one at a time. The first person I want to give you a brief update of where we are is Tom Campione, who will talk about right to work and payroll protection. Tom?
Well, as you may know, the currently active issue within right to work is, in fact, payroll protection. But since not everyone here probably knows exactly what it is, I'd like to provide you at least a quick summary. Paycheck protection is a simple reform that would prohibit taxpayer-funded automatic deductions of dues and campaign contributions from government union member paychecks. Current law grants government union leaders the unique privilege of using public resources, that is, the government payroll system, to collect their union dues and PAC money, which they use for lobbying and political activity. So who are some of these unions? They are AFSCME, which is the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, FOP, which is the Fraternal Order of Police, the PDA, the Pennsylvania Doctor Alliance, Pennsylvania State Education Association, Pennsylvania Social Services Union, the Pennsylvania State Troopers Association, the Service Employees International Union, and United Food and Commercial Workers. These are just some examples of the unions that we're talking about. These employers are all required, these employees are all required to pay union dues. And their employer, that's you and me, deducts the dues from their pay and gives it to the unions. This bill, which is House Bill 1507, would require unions to collect their own dues. This time last month, there were just 7 sponsors on the bill. But since there has been a hard push by a number of organizations, Americans for Prosperity, of course, Berks County Patriots, today the bill has 50 sponsors and has reported out of committee. It was taken up for first consideration and has been recommitted to the Rules Committee, where it currently remains stalled. To move it, we probably need 100 sponsors. Berks County House reps who have not signed on are Rossi, Cox, Gillen, Tobash, and Calta-Jerome. So if you're in their districts, please write them, email them, call them, tell them you want them to sponsor HB 1507. On the Senate side, we have a companion bill, which is SB 1034. It has just 6 sponsors. We'd like 26. None of the Berks County senators have signed up. So missing in action are Argel, Mensch, Rafferty, and Schwenk. Please write your state senator as well and ask him or her to sponsor SB 1034.
Notice on that list, how many are public employee unions? Public employee unions elect politicians. Politicians do what public employee unions want them to do. Keep that in mind, and you'll see the scenario. Okay, the second issue we want to address now is, actually, I'll move past that. We want to get two fellows on the same time. Go to the next issue, which will be covered by Jamie Kyle, and she will give you an update on our pension battle.
Before I get into my update, I just wanted to let everyone know that all of this is very new to me in terms of the politics. I don't know how involved you have been over the years. I have not been as much as I am now, and it's been very eye-opening for me in terms of understanding the numbers, the money involved, the process, the difficulty of actually getting things changed. It's incredible to me. So it's been a very eye-opening experience, and it continues to be. So pension reform is actually very much in the headlines right now. I don't know if you've seen that or not, but Corbett has decided that pension reform is a very big topic for him. And I believe that he is obviously trying to strengthen his re-election bid by taking on pension reform. It's still not clear whether or not he'll be able to get it done. The numbers are staggering. A couple things. Pennsylvania, as you would know, or from other presentations, we administer 2 different pension plans, and it covers 700,000 people, which is a lot of people. I mean, that is certainly not an insignificant amount. And the problem has been that over the years, the pension, for political reasons, has been underfunded. So when you look at the pension numbers, and as you see Governor Corbett and the Congress trying to deal with it, the legislation trying to deal with it, you end up realizing that there's a lot of numbers games going on, and it's very hard to sort through to actual facts, which is why next month is a really good meeting to come to, because we'll have more time to discuss a lot of this. But what they'll do is they will have actuarial tables, which you would be familiar with in terms of insurance plans. And they use the actuarial tables to come up with the budget, you know, guessing on how long someone is actually going to get a benefit, which would be a pension. So the calculations for the actuarial calculations are being manipulated. Okay, so you can change what that looks like. And they will also underfund the, in order to keep the budget looking good, they will underfund the pension plan, which is what's been happening for many, many years now. But because of the very actuarial table and the people that are now retiring, this bubble can no longer be ignored, which is why Corbett has to deal with it. Within the next 10 years, the number of people, just like those of us that are baby boomers that are retiring, the same thing is happening in this environment. And that pension payments will now have to be done. So that's why everyone is starting to panic. There is no delaying anymore. They can sort of push the can down the road, but not considerably much longer. So come next month, we'll have some additional information. You'll see that Corbett, again, is supporting a hybrid plan, which some of us disagree with. The concern with the hybrid plan, which is the current Tobash bill that he supports, is a problem in that it only changes the way that the pension is dealt with future employees. So all of the current concerns regarding the people that are currently covered on the pension as defined today, there is no change in that. So that's why when you see the projections in terms of savings, you see them not incurring for years. Because it doesn't take effect for years, because the only thing that they're actually changing is the fact that when a new employee comes on board, they are under a different plan. None of the real issues are dealt with. So I think I'll end with that.
The only footnote to that is politicians, when they're re-elected, will be considered new employees and therefore would come under the 401K. However, the caveat to that is Pennsylvania Constitution, Article 2, Section 8. Legislators are entitled to salary and mileage and no other compensation whatever. They don't get it. That's another issue, an argument with this pension reform. The next issue we want to get to now will be a comprehensive view of the local issues. And we've created a team of Donna Peters and Chuck Orwine to address the local issues. So you think some of us are a little radical. Wait till you're done. She's more fed up than the rest of us.
All right, Siri. It's actually been a while since I had the opportunity to talk to the members of the Patriot organization. Don't say that, I know, I'm so sorry. And as I was driving here to the meeting this evening, I was thinking the very first time I had to stand up in front of all these people because Mr. Miller told me I had to. And I was like, no. And he's like, but you have to. And he was giving me his advice and expertise because he's been doing it for 40 plus years and has a lot of practice. And he says, don't ever let them see you sweat. Don't ever tell them that you're nervous. So I'm journaling this into my head and I walk up the steps and I stand here at the podium and I look out and my mouth dropped open, my eyes got as big as saucers. And I'm just like, and the next thing that blurted from my mouth was the one thing Mr. Miller told me never to say, I am so nervous. And a very nice gentleman in the audience yelled at the top of his lungs, just look out here and pretend we're all naked. And I started laughing, and it did break the ice. And I'm happy to let you know I am not nervous this evening, and you all are looking pretty darn good. My name is Donna Peters. I'm excited to be partnering again with the Patriots on something near and dear to my heart, local issues. These issues are, in fact, the issues that do impact you most of all. And more importantly, they are the issues that you do have the most control over. In the months ahead, we're going to be talking to you about regionalism. Some folks look at it as the silver bullet that's going to solve all the problems of the cash-strapped cities. Some folks look at it as a blueprint for serfdom, and I like to look at it as a war of the pocketbooks, because, make no mistake about it, that's exactly what it is. And what Chuck and I are going to help you determine is if your pocketbooks can be one of those that's going to get a whole lot lighter. We're going to be talking about regionalization of services, including police, fire, water, sewer, trash, recycles, and how that affects you. We're going to be talking about the gentrification of the city of Reading, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Pierce report and their recommendation for a home rule county charter, and how that might not be such a good thing for everybody. Our discussions, like each one that we have, is going to lay a foundation for a successive one the following month. So we ask and hope it would be good, it would help you if you do, if you come every month and get that foundation in preparation for the next month. Bring a friend, because the bottom line is, folks, you don't have a D or R on your pocketbook. Your pocketbook is your pocketbook, and all the money's green, doesn't matter. So I hope that you come out and give us an opportunity to discuss all these issues with you, help you understand what they are and how they're going to impact you. Thank you very much.
As you can see, Donna's the quiet one of us. I'm going to throw a little flame here. Donna's going to do a lot of work. We're going to point out a lot of things, but we need you to get lit and start digging into somebody. We need to put a burr under every damn politician's saddle that is in our township or the town that we live in. It's a trickle-up process. Right now, we're getting trickled down on, and we're paying hell for it. We want to put a spotlight. We want to, look, we're not going to throw false facts. We're going to be reporters. We're going to try and dig out what's the truth, present it to you, and you make a decision. Are you going to do something about it? That's what I need you to do. Everybody who leaves here goes home and, oh, okay, I'll wait till the next meeting. I want you to go home and get on the phone, talk to your neighbors, talk to your children, and I want you to get mad. Mad enough to be concerned that you want to protect what's in your pocket. If you don't get mad and protect what's in your pocket, it's going to be gone. I work my butt off as a salesman. I support 4 plants for my company, and I feel really upset when we don't have enough orders coming in the door and everybody gets paid. I don't see the government worrying about what's in my pocket, and I'm here to tell you I'm worried about what's going to be in yours. So what I want you to do is to be aware of what we're going to tell you. We'll have some contact with a website called Berks County Free Press. That's going to be a good place to get information. There's other resources too. And I need you to pass that on, do your homework, listen to what we say, and then do something about it. Every time you leave here, I need you to at least make one phone call to your congressman and say something. Even if it's, hello, I'm so-and-so, I've been watching you. That's all we want to do. Because just so you know, they pay attention. But right now, they're not. So I'm going to ask you to put your hand up, swear that when you leave here today, you'll find something to get mad about, something to call, or at least ask a question. Call the commissioners, call the township, call somebody, hey, why are you doing this? Why is this happening? Why are we doing this? And I don't agree or I agree. You may not agree with what I do, but I've had enough. Don and I are going to do some homework, and we're going to give you the best we can. But I need you to do something about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Local Issues team. Let me have Ellen up here for a minute or two, just to give you an idea of what we're trying to do to unify all of these groups like Berks County Patriots and try to create a coalition of strength where these politicians will do more than just pay attention to the people in their neighborhood, but recognize that they represent the state. Ellen.
Thank you, Rod. Did any of you ever hear of the unity chairman that's in your bylaws? Man, I'll tell you, that's exactly what I expected. In any case, it says there in the bylaws that the unity chairman will support the legislative committee and reach out to like-minded groups. My wife tells me there ain't nobody in the world that thinks like I do. But in any case, at first I thought, what the heck is this? And I managed to accumulate 92 email addresses of groups very similar to this across the state. Some of them in central Pennsylvania, one in Allegheny County. There's 13 groups similar to us in Berks County. Now, some of them are more singly focused, like Why Missing, The only thing they're concerned about is the fence around the football field. But at least they're organized, and I look at them as potential in the future. I reached out to these groups across the state. Some of them respond positively. Most of them I don't hear anything from, which is about normal. But on a positive side, we have a couple very local active groups. You heard Tom, he's with the 912 Lehigh Valley Patriots. That's a very active group. There's an Independence Hall party in Philadelphia that focus mostly on issues in their area, but they have over 2,000 members. And you'll hear from Dean later for the campaign from Liberty. They are very proactive and get stuff done, just like Chuck was talking about. But my job really is pretty easy because I have a lot of support. You heard Chuck and Donna and all these others. There's a gentleman here tonight that came all the way down from the Lehigh Valley 912, and there's other groups that attend our meetings that we don't know about. My point is, I would really like to see more of you getting involved with people across the state on issues that concern us. You heard about some of the issues. Right now, property tax is a big thing. If you know anyone, have relatives or friends, especially from middle Pennsylvania, northern tier counties, please contact them and tell them to contact their legislators and senators, because they hear from us. They don't give a hoot, because we can't vote for them. So that's where I ask. The other thing, you'll be hearing more from us, I'm sure. We're working hard. The other thing is, we really need your input. We need your suggestions of what you would like. You're the people that make this group go. Thank you.
Okay, our fifth and final will be shared, I suppose, between Bruce Rader and Dean Klopp, and they will get you the latest update on what's going on property tax. Okay, Bruce?
Good evening. Point of clarification on property tax. What we're trying to eliminate is the school portion of your property tax. As you know, that's the bill you just received in the mail if you own property. The part that's probably going to most likely stay will be the local tax and the county tax. Both those real estate taxes we expect to remain. It's the school tax that we want to eliminate. And right now that bill is in the state Senate. And there's several senators that are holding things up. And what they're exactly doing is they're just not voting. So the bill has not come to the floor. So I have a handout, and I'm going to ask Sam and Judy to pass the handouts out. And what I want each of you to do is call those people on that list. They're state senators. They're on the fence. I have personally called them. And I've also sent them emails. If you prefer email, there's an email, their email address is on there too. So I'm asking each of you to contact those senators that are on the fence. Also, if you prefer, you can see me afterwards. I have letters that some of you signed last time. If you didn't sign those letters last time, please see me. I will give you a copy of the letter, or if you want to send another one, U.S. mail, see me, and I'll give you a copy. You can send another one out. I'm going to introduce in a minute Dean, who's going to tell you some action he's taking. So let me have a show of hands. Who would prefer U.S. mail to send to these senators? Please raise your hand if you prefer U.S. mail. Okay, yeah, please see me afterwards, and I'll make sure you get a copy. But it's my pleasure to introduce Dean Klopp. Dean is really doing something about this. we will be knocking on doors, and these same senators, we're going to be knocking on their constituents' doors this weekend and other weekends. If anybody would like to get involved in that, you're going to have to talk to Dean about that. But it's my great pleasure to introduce Dean Klopp, who was very active in this House Bill 76. And with no further ado, Dean Klopp.
Hello. Thank you very much, Bruce. Thanks, Berks County Patriots, Legislative Committee. I've been around these guys for about a year and a half now, and man, have they been carrying the water, have they been doing the work. I would ask if you all would just give a nice round of applause for these guys and all the work that they've been putting in. So I'm a Berks County Patriot. I'm also a coordinator for Campaign for Liberty. And what we've been hearing from everybody for months now is we need to reach out to other people, other areas. All of Berks County's on board. We all know that. We've known that for a long time. But like Senators Vance, Teplitz, and Wozniak, they're the three senators that we've chosen to target with some door knocking, some canvassing, maybe even some sign waving if we can get enough people out there. And this Saturday and the next 4 Saturdays, we will be visiting their neighborhoods and their home offices and the neighborhoods surrounding those home offices. We have put together a petition. So what do we do when we knock on somebody's door? Hey, how are you? Hello. I'm from the Berks County Patriots. I'm from the 76 Action Committee, and we'd like to share with you a little something about property tax independence. How would you like to eliminate your property tax, your school property tax, once and for all? And what would most people say? I can tell you, I spent about an hour in Camp Hill the other day just canvassing the area, looking at things, and I happened to stop at the Appalachian Brewing Company. And not because I was thirsty, but because they were directly across the street from Senator Vance's office. And you know, within 5 minutes, I had people signing the petition. They want copies of the petition so they can leave there and have all their patrons sign it. It's not that difficult, folks. This thing's a no-brainer. You know it, I know it, but we need to reach out to other people. So this is the initiative that we're starting. If anyone is interested, we'll be carpooling, leaving from the Bethel Fire Company. If you don't know where Bethel is, it's about 25 minutes from here. I have directions at the back table. Please come see me afterwards and sign up for this coming Saturday or another Saturday in the next month. But we will be visiting these senators' districts. We have a game plan. We know where we're going. We actually know where these senators live. I would love to go knock on the neighbors' doors of these senators and let them know what they're not doing for us. How about it? Would anybody like to do that? I would love to do that. You have to beat me to it, though. So, also, there are 2 other days. Senator Teplitz is a fun guy, and we've been learning that for a few town halls. We've actually had the opportunity to take over 2 of his town hall meetings. He's had very little to say, but he's had a lot to listen to. And I can tell you, our strategy is to make thousands of robocalls. We make anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 robocalls into their districts, and we send a message out to these people a day or 2 or 3 before the meeting, and we tell them about the town hall. We tell them that their senator is not on board with property tax rights, with property tax independence, and how they need to come out and voice their opinion. And usually they show up pretty wound up, and it doesn't take a whole lot to get them going. So we get them going, and he gets reeled on for about an hour. So we have 2 dates, Monday, July 28th for that. That's in the Hummelstown area, right outside of Hershey. Once again, we'll be meeting at Bethel. If anyone would like to carpool, I have the information in the back. Come see me, sign up for one of those dates. There's another town hall Thursday, August 7th in the Colonial Park area. Already talked to some people that are coming out for that. And we also have sign-up sheets for coming out to canvass with us in the Senator's District. So we have these real handy clipboards that we'll be using. Petition on top, we'll give you a pen, we'll give you a clipboard, and inside you can put all the information you need. We have different flyers to hand out to whoever that you're meeting on the street or at their home. So we hope that you join us. I ask that you come out, but this is how we get this outside of Berks County. This is how we get the message out to Cumberland County, Dauphin County. We're even going to Bedford. So, and we look forward to hearing more initiatives coming out of the summit this Saturday on the left. So thank you for your time. Thank you very much, and hopefully see you at your back table. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean, very good. And don't forget to see Dean at the back table. There's one more quick issue. We passed these out about the 7 senators, and we didn't make enough copies. So if anybody needs to call or email these 7 senators, please see me, and I will make sure I get your email address or your phone number, and I will get the other copies to you. Thank you.
Okay, you heard pretty much of a thumbnail sketch of what your legislative committee's been doing. And I would say that you've heard the pressing issues. There are other issues. We could be dealing with the liquor privatization and all those things, but we're hitting the things that hit your pocketbook the hardest. And as you can see, we got enough issues spread across that we had to get enough people on the committee to handle each of these issues. It's just too much for 1 or 2 people. So, if what we said tonight resonates with you, I want to tell you that the August meeting is dedicated to the legislative issues, and we are going to be discussing them thoroughly, more than you heard tonight, and you'll find out really the history of some of this, where we are and where we're going, and what we can do about it. So I would encourage everybody that what they heard tonight from the Legislative Committee to make it a point to be right where you are tonight, the 3rd Thursday in August, and we're going to do some significant discussions among us. Where do we go from here, and what we need to do about it. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Legislative Committee. I want to ask everybody in here a question by a show of hands. How many believes you have more rights today than you did 5 years ago? How about some of you older folks? Do you feel more comfortable now than you did when you were younger? Do you think you're freer now today? So how many think that we really have some problems going on here by a show of hands? Okay, that's what the importance of the Legislative Committee is, because these politicians, for the most part, don't give a damn about our issues. They give a damn about their pension, their cushy job, and now they're set for life. And that really is how it is. I know a lot of these people, some are good people. Unfortunately, I think we have more of the kind that just want the cushy job, and as long as they skate through their 20 years, they're set forever, better than you and I will ever be. So it takes people like the Legislative Committee and people like you to drive these things. If they don't hear from us, if they don't get pounded, if you don't go up there and hit them all the time, they're going to just drop the issues. That's what happens. And now with all these Tea Party groups across the country, we're seeing things happen. I mean, granted, it is slow. I know everybody talks to me about, well, what's really getting done? Subtle things are happening. And there's now starting to be a shift. People are starting to wake up. Does anybody see that people are waking up? This is evidence right here in this room. People are waking up. We're getting sick and tired of these politicians just skating on our dime and doing absolutely nothing. So the importance of the Legislative Committee is no one person can do it all. You know, they research these issues, they keep contacting the politicians, they drive it and drive it and drive it, and unfortunately that's what you got to do. You got to keep hitting them and hitting them and hitting them and hitting them. And this is where you guys come in. You can actually help. So when they ask you to call, you know, or write letters and stuff, it's very important. I mean, how many of you talk to politicians by a show of hands? How many actually contact your politicians and talk to them? How many of you heard your politicians say, well, we need to hear from you, hear from you? Ever hear that? Yes. The more they hear from you, the more they're going to listen. Especially come election time, it's like, okay, wow, well, maybe I better do something now because I might not be here next year at this time. And unfortunately, that's the way it is. So I'd just like to thank the Legislative Committee and all those who put out, you know, all the effort. I mean, it's not for any pensions or salaries. This is all volunteer. So thank you all for all the work you guys do. Thank you. And he's going to tell you about what's going on here in Berks County with the Oathkeepers. How many of you know Andy? Andy takes his hearing aid out when he sits next to me. He says I talk too loud. Now he even started sitting at the other end of the table and taking his hearing aid out when we're in a board meeting. I don't talk too loud, do I? Andy, I was quiet.
Here's Andy. That's why I'm hard of hearing. Good evening, Patriots.
Good evening.
All right, that was good. Now, before I introduce our honorable guest, how many of people, by raising hands, have a family background where there was immigrants in their family? Hello? Okay, great. But when your grandparents or great-grandparents came to this country, they did it legally. Okay. Watch your news, especially tonight, Channel 69 Berks edition. You may be very unhappy or surprised to hear what's going on and what the county commissioners are going to cave into, or possibly unless you contact them. So that's just a little bit. We had a state leadership Oathkeepers conference call the other night. Brett was in on it, and a bunch of other Oathkeepers from across Pennsylvania. And the very first topic was illegal immigration and what's going on at the border and how they're responding to it in California rather successfully, and also in Arizona. And if you do take part in any rallies, just make sure that you're representing yourself as an American. That's number one. You're an American. You're not part of any other group other than you're a citizen of this country. And that's what really opens up people's eyes. The people who don't know what's going on or hedging at the fence, you know, we don't want to be labeled as extremists. We're Americans, and everyone can fall into line with that rule of law and being American. Okay, now, Brett White comes to us as a member of Oathkeepers. He's a chapter leader and also Central Pennsylvania leader for Oathkeepers. He drove all the way here with his lovely wife from just north of Harrisburg. He brought a special guest with him who's going to talk to you about communications. That's kind of a little treat that we're going to throw in here. If you're interested in joining Berks Oathkeepers, right in the back where you see the Oathkeepers sign, there's a bunch of material that you can pick up. If you just want to study it first, there's cards, there's little flyers. Pick up one, please. There's even a few CDs you can take, play on your computer or home or a TV at home. And if you do want to be contacted, we're going to start a Berks chapter. We got 20-some people already who signed up at Sheriff's Brigade meetings, and we'll get things rolling here for a Berks chapter. And to learn more about Oathkeepers, we have Mr. Brett White.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'd like to start off with a prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, I just ask you to be with this group of Patriots, and Lord, that you would use me to talk through me to them, Lord, to get this message across, and just appreciate all you do for us in this nation. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you. All right, I tell you what, I'm impressed with everything that's going on here tonight with the speakers. You guys are doing a lot more than I think a lot of other places are doing. But all right, so here to talk about Oathkeepers and a little bit with what's going on with our nation. This is not Good Morning America. No. This is Wake Up America. Turn the TV off. For those, and I hope there's none in this group, but pornographic material is running rampant over the internet. Get rid of it. Turn it off. This next one may hurt a little bit, but it's for the soccer mothers and soccer moms. Get some other activities going. Running your kids all over a sports game is not a family activity. Get some, go camping. Read the Bible. Teach them how to work. Teach them how to use guns safely. Yeah, firearms. Teach them about our Constitution. If you don't know it yourself, learn it together. And how does the preamble of our Constitution start? It sounds like you guys have been taking a class here recently, so anybody, how's the preamble start? All right, we the people people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. My God and King is not the person in the White House. My God is King Jesus. And one day, excuse me, one day we will ultimately all answer to him. We the people have murdered over 50 million babies in this nation. Homosexuality runs rampant around the nation in many states, and thank you very much, and including this state. Soldiers are being ordered to observe Muslim holidays over the Middle East. Chaplains, military chaplains, are not allowed to invoke the name of Jesus Christ. Soldiers are not allowed to be seen in public reading the Bible. And I hope you folks know most of this stuff. I could go on and on with different things that are going on, but got to stop somewhere. I declare this nation was formed with God's blessing upon it, and we had sat back and done little to nothing while he has been removed from this nation. I feel like, excuse me, I'm sure as many of you are in this place, this building, a patriot. I feel I've been a patriot all my life. When tasked to go fight abroad, I did. When it comes time to vote, I did. We've been part of the Republican Committee for Dauphin County. We helped start the Tea Party Patriots of Harrisburg. So, you know, no different than you folks. Patriots all the way. The communists, a little different topic here, the communists wrote a manifesto years ago on how they would take down America from within without ever firing a shot. How's it working? Republican Party, the Democratic Party, corrupt to the core. But we continue to put the same bastards back in power year after year. Why did I join Oathkeepers? Because they have a plan. We have a plan. When all else fails, which I'm afraid it will, we have a plan to protect our families and communities. And if God be on our side, this plan will work. It must work. This is my own opinion, but actually from many others also. But I give this nation 1 to 2 years before financial collapse. The states are in a mess, the cities are in a mess, and you know the federal government's in a mess. Give each of you, as I said earlier, all the credit, especially since I've been here and have heard all you guys are doing. And I urge you to continue to fight on the local level, be it the municipal level, the city level, township, school boards, the county level, and the state level. I gotta say, forget about the federal level. We're just wasting our time. And when you're fighting for a candidate or an issue, you must stand on the original intent of the Constitution. That's why it's so important to learn it. Just like our Bible, the Constitution was not meant to be a living document. That's a whole different issue and a whole different subject that you can spend hours on. But anyway, getting a little bit of Oathkeepers here. Oathkeepers is a nonpartisan association of currently serving military, veterans, peace officers, firefighters, and really who has ever taken the oath. School board members. If you've ever taken the oath, you could be a full-fledged member. You can be a full-fledged member anyway. I hate the way they put that. But anyway, the support of like-minded citizens who take an oath to stand with us, to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. So help us God. Let me see a show of hands. How many veterans do we have in here? All right. Thank you very much for your service. Our oath is to the Constitution, not to the politicians, and not to any political party. In the long-standing tradition of the U.S. military, we are apolitical. We don't care if unlawful orders come from a Democrat or Republican, or if the violation is a bipartisan act. We will not obey unconstitutional and thus unlawful orders, such orders as to disarm American people or to place them under martial law. We will not just follow orders. Principles of our republic we're sworn to defend. By the way, this is a trifold that we have a lot of them back there at our table. Please go back and see Andy afterwards. As our Declaration of Independence states, all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. To secure those rights, governments are instituted among men. Governments derive their just power from the consent of the governed. How many people went down here, down to Washington, D.C., before the passage of Obamacare? Yeah, are we getting any consent from them? I don't think so. We were there also. Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new government. This is not Oathkeeper stuff, folks. This is from our Constitution. Government long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. But when a long train of abuses or usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is the right, it is their duty to throw off such government. Each of you must remind yourself of those hard-learned lessons, renew your understanding of the principles of American liberty, and how those principles are reflected in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights you swore an oath to. And then you must search your soul and arrive at your own personal line in the sand. If you remember your military, if you are in military service or peace officer, remember your oath. We hope for a return for the constitutional republic, free from fear and hatred. We hate only tyranny. You may someday find yourself as the last bulwark against that tyranny. At all Oathkeeper gatherings, we provide an opportunity for those who have taken the oath to renew their oath, and for those who have never sworn an oath to do so for the first time. Would anyone like to stand and take the oath to the Constitution? Repeat after me. I, your name, sorry.
Mark Bannister,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution
to support and defend the Constitution
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I will take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation, or purpose of evasion, pledging my life, my fortune, and my sacred honor. So help me God. What can you do to help? Join and support the Oathkeepers. Become an official member of Oathkeepers. However, membership is optional and not required to participate in our activities. Join our national forum and your state's official Oathkeeper group and get active locally. Subscribe to our free email alerts. Download or order the flyers, business cards, brochures, which we have all that stuff back there. Submit a testimony on what your oath means to you. And donate to support our efforts. All right, one more thing before I bring Mr. Tim Shigara up here. These are the 10 orders that Oathkeepers swear not to obey. We will not obey orders to disarm the American people. We will not obey orders to conduct warrantless searches of the American people. We will not obey orders to detain American citizens as unlawful combatants or subject them to military tribunal. We will not obey orders to impose martial law or state of emergency on a state. We will not obey orders to invade and subjugate any state that asserts its sovereignty. We will not obey any orders to blockade American cities, thus turning them into giant concentration camps. We will not obey orders to force American citizens into any form of detention camps under any pretense. We will not obey orders to assist or support the use of any foreign troops on U.S. soil against the American people to keep the peace or maintain control. We will not obey any orders to confiscate the property of American people, including food and other essential supplies, and we will not obey any orders which infringe on the right of the people to free speech, to peaceably assemble, and to petition their government for redress of grievances. I'm going to get into why I joined Oathkeepers. I left that kind of blank. After we have Tim Shingara is our communications expert for Dauphin County. He lovingly calls himself a radio geek. I love that. And he's a big guy too. So communications is vitally important to everything we do, everything that we're going to be doing. So encourage you to listen up. Tim? Yes, real quick. Yeah, 23 years in the Air Force, yes.
Okay. Question has always nagged me, especially since our president is in the White House. He is your commander-in-chief. Although we know this man and his goals, etc., the men that serve and women that serve are obligated because he is commander-in-chief. How do you determine the conflict of that? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's, you know, we have a constitution, we have our, I'm sorry, she's asking, since President Obama, we're not sure where he stands as far as an American, I guess is a good way to, maybe one way to put it. Yeah, so if he gives an order, unconstitutional order, what we are not to follow it. We are not to follow it. Yeah, it's very touchy. I mean, that's very difficult, but it could be. Yep.
Wow. Hard act problem, right? Hey, what's your bottle of water? These cards are great. They're in the back. I carry them with me. When I see a vet, I give it to them. When I see a trooper, I give it to them. Father, officer, when you come in the Colonial Park where I live, you have a decision to make. Talk into the mic. I'm sorry. The radio guy, I'm not very good. I give these cards out. They have the 10 orders on the back. I give them to troopers, firemen, police, and I say, this is my oath that I took. When you come into my neighborhood, what's that? Boy, normally I'm too loud, okay. But I hand these cards out as a conversation starter. Officer, you come to my neighborhood. You have to decide, are you going to protect me, or are you going to follow orders? So in answer to your question, ma'am, my son's in the Navy. All my sons are in the Navy. My granddaughter was in the Navy. We're a Navy family. My uncles, my brothers, okay? I talked to a lot of veterans, okay? I asked them, if you came, would you fire on us? They said, hell no. I said, then you need this card because when you ride your RV into my neighborhood, you need to say, I'm with the Oathkeepers, I'm with you, okay? So each person has to make a decision on what they want to do. These cards are in the back. I carry them with me at all times. Wow. Hi, I'm Tim Shingara. I'm a radio geek. I took my oath October 19, 1966, joined the U.S. Navy, went to Vietnam. It was just as impressive then, it means just as much to me now. I was a Navy radioman, Central Intelligence, FBI, IBM, FEMA, PEMA. My last 21 years was the communications officer for Pennsylvania State Police. I build communication systems. That's what I do. I live for it. Now let me give you a scenario here. I'm going to say the word zombies, but picture the family in New York City on the 51st floor in the Bronx. They have a small cupboard in their kitchen. Spam, some eggs, whatever, okay? That's their food. He has 3 kids. The EBT cards go, the finance clashes. He walks down 50-some stories to the street to go to the store. It's empty. I have to feed my children. This is a good guy. He's not a bad guy. What's he do? Desperation. Pops a cab driver, steals a car, 1 tank of gas out of New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington, Reading, Harrisburg. Where are they? Right here. Look at that guy's farm. He's got electricity, he's got cows, I bet she has food. Boom. Let's take it. He was a good guy, but now he has to protect his family. So I'm going to call these people zombies. Okay, and when the zombies come out towards you, I go to a lot of meetings in Perry County. They're very rural houses, a lot of acreage around. Mom and dad, mom can be out front, dad could be out back with a shotgun. But 60 of them come, whether they be federal, local, whatever, anybody. You'll last 10 minutes. You're screwed. You'll go out, they'll take your stuff. Communications. And my message is simple. Talk to your neighbors. I just met a neighbor 3 houses away from me this morning who's more crazy than I am on hoarding and guns and loves to hate Obama more than I do. Didn't know he was there. He couldn't make it tonight. But I tell you what, he's got my back door. So if they're coming up my driveway, they have my house surrounded. I call Bob. He walks up and fires off a couple rounds. All of a sudden, half of that force is looking behind him. He gets on the radio, the CB, FRS, Family Radio Service. They're cheap. Buy them on eBay, buy them, set them up in your neighborhood. Talk to the guy 3 blocks away. I'm a hand. I just did an Oathkeepers outing a couple months ago. Had the guys build a wire, and I talked to South America, I talked to Florida. That's cool. You get to me, I can spread the word to the other states. That doesn't help you. 6 blocks from here. Look at your neighbor. Find out who they are. Do they want to protect what they have? Okay, now, I don't want to call myself a prepper or a crazy guy, a hoarder, or whatever, okay? But you're stupid if you think you can protect your family. There will be no money. There will be no food. There'll be people coming after it. It's just due diligence to have some food, some water, a little bit of ammunition, but the best thing is community and family and neighbors. And you have a radio, okay? You have a radio. Get on the radio, talk. Now, we have a communications plan here. I'm the Pennsylvania communications officer for the Oathkeepers. We have a very good radio plan. It matches in with the national plan. It's a very good one. It's simple. It's on our Oathkeepers site. Basically, all you have to do is buy a cheap CB or a little walkie-talkie. Okay, the family radio service, when you take your kids to Hershey Park, Channel 3. Do you have Channel 3 on? Hit Channel 3.
Check on Channel 3, radio check Channel 3.
That radio, this radio will go about 3 blocks, that's all you need. This radio is 50 watts, it'll go about 20 miles. You get to my house, I can go 100 miles. But everybody in the neighborhood has these. And you talk to to your neighbors. Hey, Bob, how you doing? Fine. How's your crops coming in? Fine. Okay, fine. I can talk to Bob 3 houses away. So when they're coming down, and here's another thing. They're coming to take your guns. Whoa. Where? What do you mean where? They're coming to Colonial Park to take your guns. Well, Colonial Park's big. They don't have enough people to go every door at the same time. They have to start on Locust Lane or at the mall and start coming in. Guess what? Jerry's behind the mall saying they're at the mall coming down Locust Lane. We spread the word. Okay, same thing as a money match. Same thing. Just stand there, give them something to work around. Communications. It's that simple. Now I'm going to have the equipment here on display, but you don't need a lot of money to buy a little walkie-talkie, FRS radio. We have a communications plan. We have a lot of capable people, but you've got to talk to your neighbors. Half these people here, you only see them here. More than half the people, you only see them here. You don't know where they live. Who's going to come and help you when you need help? Your neighbor. Knock on the door like I did. I just met some wonderful people today. Find those people, give them a radio, so that when it happens, I've got some help you not alone. It's that simple. It can get a lot complicated for the geeks to come up and talk to me about the equipment. That's later, but right now, talk to your neighbors, find out who's in your neighborhood. That's the guy that's going to help you. None of these people in here are going to help you. They're going to be home fighting their own battles. You want to find the guy next door, what he thinks, and how to contact him. And that's it. I'll have questions after. Brett? Thank you.
All right, and if we have any ham operators out here from Berks County, interested in helping out with the local Berks County Oathkeepers, please see Andy. Definitely could use some radio expertise in this area. All right, back to why I joined Oathkeepers, and hope that you will too, because this nation will collapse, and we have a plan for the security of your loved ones and neighbors. But it will take effort on each of our parts. Oathkeepers back in October 2013, I was kind of a silent member up until then, and all of a sudden I got an email that said Oathkeepers is going operational. What they started, they had been working on for a period of time, but what they started in October 2013 was what we're calling CP teams, community preservation teams. Those teams are taken off the Special Forces A teams. In a perfect world, it would be a 12-man team, geared up, trained, and ready to go. As you can imagine, this is not a perfect world, and we're not full-time military, so our time to training is limited, so we just do the best we can. Oathkeepers is instructing its members nationwide to form up special community preparedness teams and sub-teams in each Oathkeeper chapter at the town and county level, modeled loosely on the Special Forces A team. What the teams consist of is 2 communications experts. Again, this is a perfect world. 2 medics, 2 combat engineers, 2 weapons experts, an operations NCO, an assistant NCO, and a commanding officer and assistant commanding officer. And again, that's difficult to pull off, but that's the goal. The other part of the goal of Special Forces A teams is not necessarily to be out doing the fighting if it comes to that, or when it comes to that, as maybe Tim's scenario suggested, but actually to become proficient yourself and using those teams to train others to do the same thing as a force multiplier. There's a lot goes into, I'm not going to go into a whole lot more detail than that as far as CP teams go. Again, community preservation teams, modeled off Special Forces A teams. We get together, we practice at home on a semi-regular basis, I should say. But there's a lot more that goes into that. Many of us don't see ourselves in that role, believe me, we have the gear. We have vests with personal protection plates built into them. We have the web gear to carry all the magazines. And at 51 years old now, been retired out of the Air Force Special Ops for about 10 years, and it ain't easy to get around like that. That stuff gets heavy. So there's a lot of people that maybe don't see themselves in that role. There's a lot of other things that go along with that for support, called logistics. And it gets into a whole host of things as far as logistics go. You have people to supply food for the team that's out there protecting you, or for the people that's out protecting you. Transportation, moving teams around from point to point, or equipment around from point to point. Resupply, food, ammo, medical, communications, local and long distance, repair communications. Information can be a vast realm of possibilities. Neighborhood watches to kind of keep an eye out on what things are going on around your area. Medical, need doctors, nurses, first aid, trauma, supplies, mechanics, welders, construction, demolition, safe houses, all right? And again, if you don't believe this nation is going that way, then forget about everything I'm saying. But I think there's a very distinct possibility that is our future. And there's a lot of talk and there's a lot of chatter on the internet about bringing foreign troops in, which they do. They've been doing for years, training. The thought is that the reason they do that is because a lot of our American military will not fire on Americans. However, if they train with the Soviets, the Chinese, they will. And they'll send our troops over to those areas to do the same. A little bit on prepping. Number one is to take care of yourself. If you don't have the means to take care of yourself, then you're just going to be a hindrance to those around you. Take care of yourself. Number one is God. Make sure you're right. He's right in with you in your life. Food. If you can't take care of you and your family, like I said, you're not much good to anyone else. That includes water and medical. Weapons, preferably military-style rifles, AR-10s, AR-15s, semi-automatic handguns, 9mm, 40. Plenty of ammo for future and practice, because none of this stuff does us any good. Many of us have been out of this game for a long time, so it does take practice. It's a perishable type of training. Community preservation teams, again, the training as teams, training for the logistics side of things, recruiting. We need people to help train this area. We've got back in Dauphin County. We have a pretty good contingency of prior military. Weapons specialists. We're out in the field, and we take advantage of them for the training and the rest of it. Remember, I was Air Force. I flyboy here, so I didn't get a whole lot into that. Went through basics. Went through survival training, which was a real treat. Get the snot beat out of you, and it's a good deal. There's also other training aids, and I meant to say something to Andy about this. Magpul, Dynamics, the art of tactical carbine. It's a 4-disc DVD set that takes you through step 1 of training and takes you all the way through the different tactics that you get into. So it's a good. How we use that is we'll meet and go over one of the documentaries, one of the training programs, and then go out in the farm that we use and put it to practice. So both empty, in other words, unloaded, and then loaded live fire. So I hope I'm not scaring anybody, but okay, I appreciate that, because I hope to have more people on board, and the communications is key. We're in Dauphin County, we're in the upper part of Dauphin County. Tim, of course, is in Harrisburg itself, and we need to have communication of what's going on here, as well as hopefully we can fill you on what's going on in Dauphin County when that time comes. So I appreciate you having us. And again, please see Andy back at the table for Oathkeeper information. Thank you very much.
Do you have any questions from the speaker tonight?
Yes.
You're going to stand up, say your name, the town you live in, and then I'm going to hold the microphone up.
My name is Len Rim. I live in Schuylkill County. If I got a half dozen or 12 guys together, is there any such thing as a basic training program? I've been out of this a little bit too. I'm pushing 80.
You're in good shape, sir. Appreciate it. Yeah, not basic training per se, but you know, again, these videos, they can be bought online for $40, and it's a good training regimen to get back proficient with your weapons. I encourage everyone to have an exercise program. America's out of shape, and we can do something about it.
Is there any place we can get together and talk to somebody like yourself?
Yes, we actually have a professional trainer over in Perry County that we get together with, and I will, Andy's been there already, I believe, over at Dave Lavely's?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can he sign up anywhere? Is there a website they can go to? Maybe, I don't know if you can go on the internet? Is there a website they can go to?
Yeah, start off by seeing Andy back there. But yeah, oathkeepers.org is the website. And actually these trifolds, you can, if you care to join, again, it's not mandatory. We appreciate all the help we can get anyway. Yeah, and then on the trifolds, there's a place to fill out there to join, to send in, or the internet. And then the company I was talking about that we get together and train is called Stay Ready. And again, that's more on the professional level. That's a pay to go. So, all right.
If you have questions, like you said, Berks, go to oathkeepers.org, but for local communication, to contact me, and I'll give answers or find answers to your questions, it's BerksOathkeepers@iCloud.com. So all one word, BerksOathkeepers@iCloud.
Any other questions? I'll hold the mic, stand up, say your name and the town you're from.
Sure, my name's Jim, and I'm from Robinson Township, just south of the city of Reading. And my question is more geared towards communications. My question specifically is, Sunday afternoon I'm getting together with about a dozen preppers, so to speak. And there's a couple in our group that we have our ham license. Others in the group are looking for a real specific radio type, handy radio, manufacturer. Which manufacturer would do the job?
Okay, Oathkeepers, this is coming directly from the president of Oathkeepers, Stuart Rhodes. He recommends the Bofang ham radio.
Which model?
5.
They're all the same. The Bofangs are $35.
There you go. Which one? What's the model?
Bofang.
One of them, yeah, UV-5R.
That might be discontinued. 5RE would be the new one, perhaps?
Sure.
They're all the same. Dual band. What you want to really get is in the FRS, which is the UHF frequencies, Family Radio Service. You can go to Cabela's. They sell a little walkie-talkies, okay, that you take the person apart. Channel 3.
That Citizens Band stuff.
Now, Family Radio is 450. Citizens Band is 27 megacycles, channel 3, same thing. So you can go either. We will be monitoring both channels, okay? So if you can resurrect, go out in the garage and get your old CD set of an antenna, fire it up, talk to somebody on channel 3. Go to Cabela's, buy your Honey walkie-talkies, buy a pair, channel 3. We have the big stations, but that is in the National Emergency Communications Plan. Channel 3 is where everybody will be. There's a lot of radios out there, but what you want to do is you want to get power. This radio here is 35 watts. It's illegal to run on family radio service, but when the stuff hits the fan, the FCC doesn't care, okay? This, I can talk to a whole city and a whole bunch of walkie-talkies. You can buy these on eBay for about $30 each. So, depends on how heavy you want to get in communications. I will be answering questions after the meeting that are really technical on the communications. But Channel 3, family radio service, buy old CBs at the flea market, get them working, bring back Breaker, Good Buddy from the 70s. Talk to your neighbors. Talk to your neighbors 3 blocks away. That's all you need.
Very good. Yeah.
Thank you. More questions? Anybody else have a question? I'll get this gentleman here. Stand up.
Robert Wright from Birdsboro. My question is, with the communications, if this goes down as you're stating, what's to prevent this government from blocking and killing all your radios?
Well, that's actually one of the things I used to do in the Air Force. So they can to a certain degree, but it's limited. They can jam, they can block, but it's very limited on their capabilities.
Find them and take them out.
That's right. You can directional find them and go take them out.
I haven't told Fred this, but I was just at the Gap I was at the Gap 3 weeks ago doing an exercise. The Army was actually blocking cell phone and Wi-Fi with jammers and broadcast band. I PF'd them. I'm an expert in direction finding. I found them, I went up and asked them what they were doing, told them it was illegal. They told me that the hell would get out of there. But they are practicing that. That's right here at Fort Uniontown Gap. They will knock off the radios. One of the things I have in my repertoire, I have an FM radio that I have on 107.3, and I play 50s oldies from my house. So when they take off WHP and all the big stations and they block it, I put up an antenna. And I put on my own voice of radio for calling apart. So I'm prepared even farther. I told you I'm a geek, okay, but that's in my bag of tools. I'm anticipating them blocking. And the EC-130s, that's all they did in Afghanistan. With the squadron he was on, they fly over Afghanistan, block out all the communications, and broadcast on their TV channel. And that's all they can see is the propaganda that we're sending down to them. So it is a consideration, but there's a lot of people like me that can find people. If they can transmit, I can find them. If they got a transmitter, I can kill their generator. So.
Okay, we have another question.
My name is Linda from Kutztown. I have a question for you. With all this preparation talk, which I really agree with, a question about what special events do you anticipate that are coming that will usher in the need for all the preparations? Do you see something happening in the government right now that has to happen for these things to come to pass?
Well, not just within our own government. As you know, Andy alluded to a little bit ago, the problem with immigration. There's a lot of, again, chatter out there that's saying that some of these kids or young adults, I don't think there's too many actual babies involved with this. Mostly teenagers that have been, in many cases, fighting in their own countries for a number of years, that have some pretty doggone good training because they've been on the streets doing it. But they're also bringing diseases with them. We were just talking earlier today about getting surgical masks as part of our preparations. They're looking at bringing these kids, these people, these illegal immigrants into not only towns like Reading possibly, but now they're talking about small communities where we would maybe have more trouble gathering enough people to get together to keep them out. The other part of it is collapse of the dollar. I don't know if you stay up with the BRICS nations. Anybody aware of what's going on there? The dollar is held up these days ever since they took us off the gold standard. It's now called the petrodollar. It's been that way for years. We depend on the dollar being used to buy oil around the world. There are 5 nations, 5 big nations that have gotten together and they will no longer be using the dollar to buy oil. That hurts. That hurts a lot. That hurts the American dollar. That's going to hurt us. And I can't blame them for doing it.
Any other questions? Oh, I see one more. This will be the last question from the audience.
Hi, I'm Sherry. I'm from Pottstown. My question is, when we get into all this chaos, and we have Oathkeepers, but we also have leaders in the neighborhood, how are we supposed to determine who is who?
It's a good question, and that goes back to Tim was making a very good point. Learn your neighbors. Learn to know your neighbors. Have block parties. If it's difficult to get to know them, have block parties. Invite everybody over. Don't go maybe directly to the topic of prepping and all that stuff, but kind of feel them out a little bit and see where it leads you. See who maybe you can count on in your community. Meet your neighbors. All right.
Thank you very much, Brett. Now listen, you guys hear us keep drilling this over and over and over, but it's important. I would love to say that I don't think anything will ever happen in our lifetimes, but do any of us really believe that? I believe it's a matter of when. And I would much rather be prepared, never needing it, than to not be prepared and something happen and then there is no chance to prepare.
You need spam for 6 months.
That's right.
If we're wrong, spam's good.
That's right. I too have been a prepper, if that's what you want to call it, for probably 20 years. We are doing the series in the Berks County Sheriff's Brigade based on what he's just talked about. We've seen this ISIS take over these bases over in Iraq. Are you aware that they took an undisclosed amount of Stinger missiles? Yeah. Do you know what a Stinger missile is? Okay, you can carry it in the backseat of your car. All right? You will see them in this country. Mark my words, I'm telling you right now, you'll see them in this country. There was just a jetliner taken down today. Where was that at? Ukraine, right. Don't think it won't happen here. It is coming to a neighborhood near you. Again, Deb and I are moving down to Exeter Township. We already know all of our neighbors. We've actually told them we're going to be having a big welcome us to the neighbor party. We're going to invite them over, and we're meeting them all. And some of them are kind of like-minded, some are a little different, but we got to get to know the neighbors where we're moving to. And I could survive, we could survive for a long time with what we have. I won't disclose how long, but a long time, probably a lot longer than most in this room. I have friends, and here's another situation that happens. I have a lot of friends who don't want to hear anything we have to say. And I'm sure everybody out in this room has that. Family and friends who don't care about what you have to say. But in my life, when they have a crisis, it's me they run to all of a sudden. Oh my God, you were right. What do I do? What do I do? And there'll come a time, I've been warning them for years, and someday they may show up at the house, and if they don't have enough food to support whoever they have with them, enough ammo, and enough supplies to take care of themselves, they'll be like, I'm sorry, you're going back home, wherever you came from. Because none of us can support them all. Yes, grasshopper in the hand. And I'm actually going to be reading the story of the grasshopper in the hand. I made a new version of it, which I think you'll all appreciate. Some of you might have heard it in our prep that we did here at the Patriots, but this series we're doing with the Sheriff's Brigade is much more intense, and we're going to give you the resources. I brought this radio up here because, just as they were saying, in August, it's going to be communications.
We've already brought materials, okay? We bought these radios. Kevin is going to be doing the presentation on the radios with some help maybe from you even. And right now, I'm in the market, and somebody in this room can help me out. How many have gotten rid of their TV antenna but still have that great big tower that your TV antenna used to go on? Does anybody have one? Can I have it? I'll take it down for free and haul it away. I'm looking for 2 of them. Serious. If anybody can find me one, I want them. I'm looking for them. Unfortunately, years ago, I could have had them from some houses I had. I didn't need them then. And I scrapped them, and now it's like, you idiot. See, I should have ordered more, but I didn't. But oh well. That's right. I too have been doing what you're doing. I go to all the flea markets and stuff, and I go to especially the yard sales, and I have 5 of the handheld CBs. Of the 5, 4 of them work well. I'm looking for a good base station unit. I did have one. It was a piece of crap, and I don't think a sledgehammer could have fixed it. But anyways, but I'm doing that on the, we're going to be prepping at. You can get a lot of distance with those CBs. We tried buying those, Rod and I, where we hunt, we try these walkie-talkies. And Rod's only as far as that doorway away from me, and it's like, that's what you hear. That might be Rod sleeping, I'm not sure, but that's what you hear. So they don't work very well, so we're trying to get, much more organized. But in all seriousness, though, on the 27th, Sunday the 27th, show up at Wegmans. We eat there at 5 o'clock, and then 6 o'clock the meeting starts. But to support the place, we buy food. So, Rod, you have an announcement here? We're giving him 2 minutes. Who's got a clock?
I need to. First of all, the flyer for next month's meeting only discusses the legislative committee. We are presently working on getting a prominent speaker out of Harrisburg or in the state, and we have 2 organizations in mind. We're looking for a speaker that will discuss the same subjects we are discussing. So you folks that are on the mail list, on the email mail list, you get this information. So just stand by. Even though the flyer don't cover it, you'll hear from us. Secondly, to show you how action happens rather quickly, Tom earlier listed the elected officials of Berks County that do not support payroll protection. We didn't even leave this meeting when one of our Patriots emailed Mark Gillen, asked him if that's the fact. Mark already responded. That's the fact. But the fact is, he didn't support the bill as now written, and he met with Representative Culver, the prime sponsor, to amend it. He said it's going to be amended, and when it's amended, he will be sponsoring it, and he will be voting for it. So that happened rather quickly. So it shows you how easy it is to get action. Once the word is out there, and Mark Gillen's a good man, by the way, in my opinion. We've had him quite a few times, so that's the kind of stuff. It will give Tom an opportunity for the next month to canvass the rest of the politicians in Berks County that are not ready to support it, and he'll have new information, I'm sure.
Thank you, Rod. Okay. We don't really have any closing announcements, so I just want to say, how many believe in prepping by show of hands? Now, how many knows when the time to start is? Now. Okay, if you haven't done anything, it's time to start now. Sure.
Folks, most of you believe in prepping, but even from an economic standpoint, when it comes to dry goods, like in canned goods, we're starting to experience, or starting to admit to some inflation finally. So even from an investment standpoint, as long as you use it before it goes bad, investing in dry goods and canned goods is a smart investment because we're going to experience some serious inflation eventually. I mean, just normally, when and if the economy will get better, when it gets better, then they start bumping up interest rates. And they haven't been able to do that for a long time. So even from an investment standpoint, it makes good sense.
Remember the barter system, it works great. All right, at this time, we'd like to close this meeting in prayer. Everyone can join me.